Hello, everyone. My name is Tate. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy and welcome back to another film review. Today, I am looking at Enola Holmes 2, the recent sequel to the first Enola Holmes film, which was released back in 2020, I think it was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020. Good. So not too long ago. The sequel that I'll be honest. I mean, I did immediately think, okay, this has franchise potential, and we'll talk a little bit about Netflix and their handling of franchises and how we look into things there in a minute. But we're going to be mainly discussing today Enola Holmes 2 and everything to do with that film. So please leave a comment below if you've seen this film, because this film is already out on Netflix, so you can watch it. Anyone can go and see it. So please leave a comment down below if you have seen this film. What did you think of it? Leave us kind of your thoughts on the first film as well. If you're looking forward to this one will have, I don't think, any major spoilers spoiled in it, because there's only really one big spoiler to the entire film. So I'll try and avoid those and just give us a general review for people who are coming across this. But please leave your thoughts on either the first film or the second film down below in the comments. Also, like, subscribe, do all of that, support the channel in any way or means possible. Please also go and follow us on various different social media feeds. So at cinema_savvy on Twitter and on Instagram. That's where we're most active. So please go and follow us there. Go find us on Facebook and on Letterboxd. Just type in Cinema Savvy. We will come up. And also go find us on our Redbubble store, where you can pick up random bits of merch, which really do help us out on the channel, just by funding, being able to continue to do this and stuff like that. So please, send us any support that you can, if you can, through those different means, and keep in contact with us over that. So let's talk about Enola Holmes 1. So Enola Holmes 1, I think it came out to reasonably good appraise. I know that there was a lot of hype going into it because Millie Bobby Brown was attached to it. Henry Cavill was attached to it. It's a project that Millie Bobby Brown had taken on. It's different from Stranger Things. It's still the Netflix connection, but it was one of those where, okay, she can show her acting range and show what else she can be in and what other characters she can play. And I really enjoyed her performance in the first film. She brought some kind of youthful energy to the character, which was really fun. And the age demographic that it was aimed at is younger than what Stranger Things is aimed at anyway. So I think it's suited to the style of kind of, how the film flowed and everything like that. With, the character itself, who's meant to be a young, vibrant, naive kind of character, can't be tamed, can't be cured or anything like that. And going off and solving mysteries. And of course, having Henry Cavill attached. We love Henry Cavill on the channel. He's a fantastic actor. Having him as Sherlock Holmes was such a big pull for the film. And they used him quite sparingly in the first film. This film, we get to see a lot more of him. I'll say that immediately off the bat. And there's been stuff coming out online about kind of talks with both himself and Millie Bobby Brown, and about their relationship, and, him being very respectful and, keeping boundaries and stuff like that with kind of, their professional working relationship and everything like that. So it's really cool that they've got this now friendship that's built up over this film and this film series. So it's really nice to see that. But you can tell that with the chemistry they have on screen. Their characters work very well together. I'd love to see more of Henry Cavill playing a Sherlock Holmes-like character. I wonder if Netflix will turn around and go, actually, we want you to have an actual Sherlock Holmes film coming out. That would be fantastic. I'd love to see that. But for now, Millie Bobby Brown is the lead of this franchise, Enola Holmes. This time in this film, slightly different from the first film, she is now a detective for hire from the end of the first film. Enola Holmes takes on her first official case to find a missing girl, as the sparks of a dangerous conspiracy ignite a mystery that require the help of her friends. So very, very similar to the first film, with, detective work, mysteries, kind of puzzle boxes, everything thrown in that you would expect from this kind of film, this kind of franchise. One thing I would note is the direction style is slightly different from the first film. The first film made use of an awful lot of infographic stuff over the screen and stuff like that. This one does have chapters, as if it was like a book, which I believe they had in the first film. But this film takes a more film-like approach to it. It's used sparingly. Montages aren't used as frequently and as often. And the 4:4 breaks to the camera, where Enola chats to, the audience and kind of voices her opinions and tries to work things out. That's kept to kind of a better tempo in this film. If you wanted to know my immediate first thoughts on the film, I actually preferred it to the first film. I did quite like the mystery of the first film. But I did find the storyline a bit too drawn into kind of the love interest angle. And for me personally, I know that a lot of audiences, especially the audience that this is aimed at, would really enjoy that side of things. I much prefer the mystery that is associated with any of the Holmes characters trying to solve a case. And this film really focuses down on that from the very start. Like pretty much from the opening 5-10 minutes, they're straight into that. Okay, we're straight onto the case. And it is the case of Enola being undermined from the very start and using her kind of her wits and her skills that she's garnered over the short amount of time that she's been a detective to be able to solve the case in the end, which is fantastic that they're going more focused into the case itself. And it really is a mystery that you have to try and actually figure out yourself. Knowing Sherlock Holmes as a franchise, however, it is kind of easy to figure out some of the key plot points that they were going for here. That's all I'll say on the matter. There is, shall we say, one particular character who you know is going to show up at some point in any Sherlock Holmes or Enola Holmes franchise. Just you know that this character will appear at some point, and this is the film where that character is introduced. So that kind of mystery was pretty much dashed straight away when you kind of figure out, well, okay, the character will show up. Is now just trying to figure out which character is that character, which was part of the mystery. From the first film, we had a lot of the actors coming back. Like I mentioned, we had Henry Cavill coming back. We have Helena Bonham Carter coming back as well, playing the mother on the run, the sparingly seen mother on the run, which was quite interesting. Nice to see her pop up throughout the film in various different points, and she's a brilliant actress who does get on very well with Millie Bobby Brown and all the other cast members. So nice to see that chemistry playing off again. We have once again Louis Partridge as well playing Tewkesbury. We have Susan Wokoma as Edith as well, who's fantastic. Adil Akhtar as Lestrade. So some familiar faces coming back from the first film, which made the film, it really was quite nice propping up that entire universe in that first film, having it as an introductory film, and then moving on from there. New characters who are introduced, we have Sharon Duncan Brewster as Mira Troy. You may have seen her in, I'm trying to think what she's been in, Sex Education, she's been in Doctor Who, she's been in loads of different things. And the big one for the film, playing the character of Grail, or Superintendent Grail, is David Thewlis, who is phenomenal in everything that he's in. I actually wasn't the biggest fan of his performance. It's very hammed up in this performance. It's a played role that he's obviously been directed to play it like that, and he's a brilliant actor in his own right. So, you know, you can tell from the way that he's acting it that it has been kind of, you know, it's been directed upon him. He has been told to play this style of character. He does come off as kind of the main antagonist from the very start. You're kind of clued into that very early on. So it's just kind of a game of cat and mouse throughout the entire time, with both Sherlock Holmes and Enola Holmes both going kind of after him and trying to figure out what his schemes are, what his plans are, what his connection is to the mystery, which is all to do with matchsticks, which I haven't read all of Sherlock Holmes' catalogue, so I wouldn't be able to compare it to any of the previous stories off the top of my head. But what I do like is the fact that they did tie this into an actual real-life event, which was really fun, which you find out towards the end with the final end card of the film showing up as this was an actual event involving matchstick factories and actual kind of mystery that may have been behind it, laid over the top with Enola Holmes. As far as the direction is concerned, it is very similar to the first film. Like I said, there are some montages, there are some very cool scenes, and it's very nice kind of direction pieces and stuff like that. It's very interesting because this does have potential as a franchise, and we've now seen that after the second film. I know that this isn't the only second film, shall we say, from a franchise that has come from Netflix this year. We've got Knives Out, Glass Onion coming out this year as well. So it's very interesting that Netflix are starting to look into their franchising options here. I know with recent controversies behind Netflix and their subscription plans, shall we say, what they're offering to people, services with ads, looking to bump up the prices, not allowing kind of the password sharing that was previously done. They've come under a lot of pressure, and they have made a rather large kind of loss over the last few years because of these decisions they've made within their company. Having a franchise like this, which doesn't really go to kind of cinema release. It's just and I think this works perfectly on a streaming platform. It's one of those where you can just throw it on a kind of afternoon if you've got nothing else on. You don't want anything too strenuous. You don't want anything too, too heavy or anything like that. It's the light, fun kind of family kind of level of fun and stuff like that. So you can just get on and watch it. However, at the same time, like Netflix, they really do need to market this a lot harder. I saw one billboard in London. I didn't see any TV adverts or anything like that. I haven't really heard much about it other than, oh yeah, Enola Holmes is coming out. And it's like, they already filmed it. There was no kind of hype behind it going into it or anything like that. Unlike shows like Stranger Things, where there was adverts all the time. The Crown at the moment is getting advertised absolutely everywhere. If they really want this franchise to work, I think they need to advertise a lot harder for these kind of films, because people like the first film and people would be happy to tune into the second film as well, because the characters and the actors who are involved are fascinating. They've built the world out. So it's, it's already set up. They just need to, as a company go, okay, we've got a franchise here. Let's see, dare I say, not how much we can milk it, but we need to see where we can take this and how much further we can kind of expand off this. Like I said, having a franchise with Henry Cavill as the lead, I know they've had The Witcher and he's now jumped off ship from that. But if they're able to retain him for a Sherlock Holmes film through Netflix itself, who knows? We did go through quite a large stage with a lot of Sherlock Holmes properties back in the early 2010s, all the way through, well, pretty much the entire 2010s. We had an American show. I can't remember what the name of that one was, but we had Sherlock on BBC. We had the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films with Guy Ritchie, which I know that there's a third one coming in the works for that. So they did have quite an influx of a large amount of Sherlock Holmes things, but that seems to have died down recently. That seems to have really kind of, Sherlock Holmes as a franchise, as a character, hasn't been seen as much on screen as he was in that very short span of time. So it's nice to have kind of not Sherlock Holmes himself, but going off and doing Enola Holmes, the sister, and stuff like that, and having that kind of connection brought back in, because I do enjoy these kind of mystery films. I do enjoy trying to figure out the case. I do enjoy all of these things, whether they're taking from the books originally or whether they're taking that from, we're going to go and do a news story. We're going to link it to real life. We're going to add it into a real life event. That's cool. I like that. But yeah, in conclusion, overall, from this film, I did quite enjoy it. But it's one of those where I enjoyed it as a sit down and kind of, don't have to think about anything too hard, just ease your mind kind of films. It's a fun kind of sit in and do nothing film. You don't have to pay too much attention. You don't really have to follow the plot threads too much, because it's quite easy to tie the strings together. It's definitely made for its market, which I would say is anywhere between kind of, 10 years old all the way up until I'd say 16 is that kind of area, that kind of market that it's aimed at. But it still works watching from, an older perspective as well, because it has some clever writing moments. It has some clever points. So it's got the grounds to be a good franchise and series. It's whether it moves on from there or not, we will have to see. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching my review of Enola Holmes 2. If you've seen this film, or if you have any comments or any kind of points you want to bring up on this film, then please leave them below down in the comment section. Don't forget to share the video as well, start discussion, subscribe if you are new here as well. And also, if you'd like to go and follow us on all of our social medias as well, they'll be scrolling across the bottom as well at the same time. So that is Twitter and Instagram at cinema_savvy. We've got Facebook and Letterboxd. That is just Cinema Savvy. Just type that in or find us in the description. Or go on to Redbubble and you can pick up some merch. Help out the channel. Please stay tuned and stick around for other videos that we do on the channel. So we have Andor spoiler discussions coming every Wednesday. So they will be out, live kind of for a discussion for anyone who's following along with the Star Wars franchise Andor at the moment. We also have our Steven Spielberg top 10 ranking coming out on Tuesday, the 22nd of November. Oof, I wonder what's going to be number one on that. That has been the culmination of all of our Steven Spielberg retrospectives. So please go and check out that playlist where we have every single Steven Spielberg film reviewed, which is a large catalog, very large catalog, and has been quite a marathon to do this year. So go and watch our kind of finale video to that, outside of the Fablemans, which we will hopefully have a review out to be confirmed after at some stage. But yes, please go and watch our video for that, because that is a lot of time and effort put in by not only myself, but also by George, who's really anchored the channel this year with those kind of videos. So please go and check out that video when that comes out on Tuesday 22nd. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching this review for Enola Holmes 2, and we will see you in the next video.